to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's day trading live stream, Wednesday, February 18th. Quick audio video check. Can you guys hear me? See my screen? Did you guys hear the intro? For some reason, it's not coming through my audio. But all right, as long as you guys are good, I'm good. S&P futures up 14, NASDAQ up 52. Russell is down 1 point. Dow is up 74. Gold up 1.5%, silver's up 4.5%, notes and bonds a little bit red, 10-year yield up 0.62%, oil up over 2.5%, natural gas down a little less than 1%, soybeans, wheat, and corn all green, euro and the pound a little bit red, and Bitcoin down 1%. VIX contracting down almost 3%, currently at 19.73 at the freeze. I won't be doing any 1DTE because we've got the vol contraction going on. No calendars, although I do still have a 3-lot left on my 6-7 put calendar from Friday. So I'll be taking that off today. Otherwise, we'll just be focused on some directional trades. We had the Watson, I saw your post. It looks like, yeah, Meta definitely was kind of a head fake to the upside. NVIDIA's holding strong. I still have interest on Meta to the downside, potentially, if I can find a level to manage risk around, maybe previous day low. NVIDIA and PLTR, I'm kind of interested on the upside, depending on what price action does at the open, but we shall see. S&P is just below previous day high, so is QQQ, IWM opening up unchanged. And like I said, Bitcoin's down about 1%. Got the opening bell in a little over a minute. Looking at NVIDIA, you can see it's hanging out. It's above previous day high. It had that aftermarket news with the Meta deal, which, yeah, I mean, the price action makes sense to me as far as what happened. You know, Meta and NVIDIA both spiked, but Meta's buying chips from NVIDIA, so kind of should think that NVIDIA should stay strong and Meta go down. It's a cost to Meta and a benefit to NVIDIA, but Amazon's kind of coming down into the open. So the blue line is previous day high on NVIDIA. The green line is a couple different levels off of the hourly chart, kind of the lows of last Monday. Kind of some other touches in after hours markets, looking at the hourly chart. So both of those levels are pretty relevant as far as managing risk around. The market is open. TOS shows an expected range in SPX today of about 45.67. We'll see what I'm using Anil's automated one with the VIX calculation. VIX is not opened yet, so it doesn't show what that is quite yet. Okay, it looks like 52.44 is the expected move with the VIX calculations. It's about seven points higher than the other one. That's a bigger gap than I'd seen previously, but all right. So Google is pushing above previous day high. NVIDIA is starting to bounce, kind of came down to that level, popping back up to pre-market highs. Tesla dipped down to unchanged and then bounced. Some of the chip stocks kind of falling to start. PLTR coming down. Banks acting a little bit strong out of the gate. Amazon holding previous day high. Meta ticked down to previous day low. NVIDIA is now dipping. Tesla's a little bounce, getting pushed back down. Google acting the strongest here. For Google, I'm going to load up some calls in Google. I would use the 305s. Those are on the 2 DTE. Amazon's starting to show some strength. Tesla popping back up. Tesla 2 DTE. I'll look at the 415 calls in Tesla. MU did a quick flush down to previous day low. It's popped back up into the green now. NVIDIA pushed down towards previous day high. Now it's popping back up. Just marking out the pre-market highs here in NVIDIA. Intel weak, AMD weak. Google couldn't hold previous day high, kind of pulling back. Amazon, nice push. Amazon's kind of showing the most relative strength. IWM is green now. Marking up the pre-market highs in Amazon. Tesla rejected previous day high back to unchanged. Meta still acting pretty weak here near previous day low. Russell acting strong here. Cryptos had an initial flush, starting to bounce a little bit. Banks still staying fairly strong. AMD super weak. NASDAQ just chopping around unchanged. S&P a little bit green and Russell pushing. A lot of sloppy chop so far, kids. A lot of sloppy chop. Microsoft flushed into the red again and then bounced. Tesla dipped into the red again and is bouncing. Amazon still acting strong. PLTR bouncing. I'm going to go ahead and load up some calls in Amazon 2DTE. I would do the 205s. Nvidia staying kind of weak, still holding above previous day high. Tesla back in the red. AMD and Intel are both staying pretty heavy. And SMCI. Intel kind of bouncing back up to previous day low. All right, getting some buyers now in S&P, NASDAQ, Russell. Big push in Russell. I'm going to load up some calls in IWM. I would do the 1DTE. 1DTE and IWM, I would use the 266 calls. Goog, pretty decent rejection of previous day high. Amazon staying strong. Tesla bouncing back in the green. It's just choppy though. PLTR starting to bounce.
Order filled. Order filled.
Nvidia starting to bounce. I'd like to see a little pullback in IWM. Amazon's still staying strong. It's all up, heading up towards pre-market highs. Microsoft, nice bounce. Netflix, big bounce, trying to go green again. I'd still be interested in Google if it kind of reclaimed that previous day high. Intel, big bounce. AMD, little bounce. MU is pushing new highs of day, heading up towards pre-market high. I'm going to mark out the pre-market high in MU. Okay, so PLTR, I'm going to load the 138 calls. Just made a big push above pre-market high. I had it kind of marked out on my daily chart as one of my top watches to the upside. So PLTR, I would trade the 138 calls. Made a quick little dip back to pre-market high, but PLTR is kind of pushing already. Goog coming back down. Amazon finally pulling back a little bit. Didn't quite get the PLTR. Just wasn't quick enough. IWM kind of paused and then it's ripping again. Amazon testing its pre-market highs. MU now pushing above its pre-market highs. I'm going to load up some calls on MU. If I trade MU, it would be on the 410s, 410 calls. Amazon rejecting a little bit. SPY rejecting previous day high. Bitcoin just chopping, staying weak. All right, so IWM's pulling back here. Keeping an eye on IWM. IWM, that level that rejected is that last Friday's high, is that upper green level that I have marked. MU now rejecting. Amazon, big rejection, getting some weakness coming in here. I'm watching IWM for long, but getting a lot of rejections here across the board coming in, so I'm going to be a little careful. AMD, I'm going to load up some AMD puts. I would look at the 195 puts in AMD. PLTR, a little pause. Coming back down a little bit. SMCI heading back towards lows. Google all the way down to lows. Nvidia just choppy. Tesla back in the red. Crypto's little bounce getting shoved back down. Bitcoin coming down. IWM's starting to bounce a little bit here. I'm going to hold off on long on IWM. It kind of rejected that level pretty hard, and all these other rejections coming in. I'm just going to be a little bit more patient. If AMD starts to break lower, I'm going to take some AMD puts.
Order filled. Order partially filled.
Microsoft had that aggressive bounce. It's coming back down. I'm going to load up some Tesla puts as well. 2 DTE puts in Tesla. I would trade the 410s. IWM is making that push back up to highs. SPY QQQ starting to bounce. Amazon trying to bounce back up. AMD showing strength now. It's pretty whippy action. Now that previous day high IWM definitely is working. IWM through highs. QQQ and S&P not back up to highs yet. Big banks staying strong. Crypto's bouncing. Hood just went green. PLTR is staying strong. Just kind of chopping. S&P, NASDAQ approaching highs of day, which is also near previous day high. IWM still pushing. Amazon approaching highs of day again. Google back in the green. Tesla staying green. Nvidia still chopping within its first 5-minute range. Microsoft's a little sell-off, getting bid back up. Amazon through highs, also through pre-market highs. I still have my 205 calls loaded in Amazon.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Brandon, you got Amazon, nice. Very nice. So S&P and NASDAQ pushing, but I mean, Amazon's the only one that's showing any strength here. AMD was weak. Now it's all of a sudden it's showing some strength. PLTR still holding, just kind of pausing near highs. MU creeping back above pre-market highs. AVGO trying to go green, trying to get up to pre-market high. PLTR making new highs. Q's taking off. What is driving this? I don't see any big boys driving, charging hard except for Amazon. MU just pushed up to new high of day. So some of the chips getting bouncy. So Q's approaching pre-market highs now. S&P still a ways to go. IWM staying strong. Google trying to rebound. Tesla making a move up. It's still in chop, but it's trying to push up to previous day high. NVIDIA is trying to bounce, but again, still within its first 5-minute bar. No trades for me today, kids. Not yet. Not yet. I really wanted to get long PLTR, but it just moved too fast. I liked IWM off of previous day high, but there's just too much rejection and things going on at that time, so I didn't enter. So just being patient. Just exercising a little patience. PLTR ticked a new high. Amazon a little pullback. Amazon kind of rejecting pre-market high now. I'd still have interest in NVIDIA if it gets some legs above pre-market high. Tesla trying to make a push up to previous day high still. IWM still pushing. Q's still pushing. SPY pushing up to pre-market high. Tesla pushing through previous day high. Microsoft pushing. S&P and NASDAQ pushing above pre-market highs now. Okay, NVIDIA's starting to pop here. And Tesla's really popping. AVGO pushing. All the chips started getting real strong.
Order filled.
Amazon creeping back up. All right, so NVIDIA, I would trade the 190 calls. $190 calls on NVIDIA. It's starting to pull back. Amazon new highs. Man, market is just ripping. Just a ripping without me. PLTR still creeping up. Nice pop in Tesla. Still have my Tesla calls loaded up if it wants to pull back. Give me an entry. Right now I'm watching NVIDIA.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
All right, NVIDIA starting to react off that pre-market high. Tesla's starting to pull back a little bit. S&P and NASDAQ pausing. Decent pullback in Tesla. I'm going to switch to the 417.5 calls in Tesla if I take it instead of the 415s. NVIDIA dipping a little bit below pre-market highs now. Watching Tesla and NVIDIA here. MU still pushing. Tesla's dip getting bought up a little bit. PLTR pulling back a little bit. All right, watching NVIDIA. Starting to pop back above pre-market high. Amazon still near highs. Microsoft popped up to previous day high, kind of paused, pull back. Tesla still pulling back. NVIDIA just kind of chopping around pre-market high here. S&P and NASDAQ pulling back. Jake, yeah, absolutely. You can use shares. Really strong move in MU, pushing through previous day high. AMD now pushing through highs of day after being the weakest earlier. PLTR's little dip getting bought up. I'm looking at PLTR, the 138 calls. I'm watching Tesla, NVIDIA, and PLTR. I'm looking for somebody to show me something. Amazon creeping back up towards highs. All right, I'm going to take PLTR. Trying to get filled on the 138s, filled at 383 on PLTR. See if PLTR can make another extension here. I'm going to use this current bar. This current 5-minute bar, if it breaks below that, that would be my exit. But just had a nice little aggressive dip buy up. So let's see if it can make another push through highs. Amazon pushing through highs. Tesla, nice bounce as well. NVIDIA starting to reclaim pre-market highs. So Tesla, NVIDIA, and PLTR. I like all three of these. NASDAQ, S&P popping back up towards highs. Need PLTR to pop a new high. I'll put my first profit target at 430 on PLTR. Oh, what happened to my board here? MU kind of going bonkers. AMD got some legs. NVIDIA popping up to highs of day. I need an extension higher out of PLTR here. I'm on the 138 calls in PLTR. Nice trade on IWM Watson. Chips are pumping now. Chips be pumping. PLTR ticked a new high of day, not quite up to my profit target yet. I have it set at $4.30. SMH pushing. NVIDIA ticked a new high of day. Tesla approaching high of day. All right, PLTR trying to push here. S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, all new highs of day. Little squeeze continuation from yesterday going on. All right, PLTR approaching my profit target. Trading at 425. My profit target's 430. Need another little tick higher. Amazon kind of pulling back at highs of day. Tesla ticked a new high of day, but no follow through. NVIDIA hovering right at highs of day, and then PLTR also kind of ticked through, but not much follow through.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Still looking for a little more out of PLTR to hit profit target. S&P and NASDAQ kind of pulling back. Tesla, a little pullback. NVIDIA still hovering near highs. Let's see. Watson caught IWM. Brandon caught Amazon. You guys catch anything else? There's definitely some opportunities. MU off of pre-market highs, you would have had to been quick. PLTR off of pre-market highs would have had to been super quick. Brandon, a little bit in Intel. All right, seeing some buyers step in on some of these chips again. See if PLTR can follow. AVGO at highs. MU's still pumping. MU's up 5.5%. SMH is up 2%. Tesla just chopping near the highs. NVIDIA still trying to grind up. PLTR just kind of hovering. Amazon pushing new highs. Be back in 1 minute. Yeah, Goog rejecting previous day high again. Yeah, and that thing has been pretty weak lately. Tesla pulling back towards previous day high. Nvidia would have been a nice one. It's still pushing. Nobody took Nvidia? I like that one as well. It's actually doing a lot better than my PLTR here. Jonathan W, nice. Tesla, on the other hand, you may have hit one profit target at highs of day, but it's coming back down. So of the three I was watching, Nvidia, Tesla, and PLTR, Nvidia definitely doing the best. PLTR's holding up well. It's trying to make another push towards highs. Still just a couple ticks away from a profit target. Tesla would have done the worst of the three. Tesla, pretty healthy pullback, back below previous day high. S&P and NASDAQ just kind of chopping near highs. Bitcoin kind of chopping near its highs of day. Still in the red. Where is my previous day close here, Bitcoin? Oh, there it is. Circles up over 3%, kind of chopping above previous day high. Coinbase just popped back up. Hood still chopping near highs. Big banks still chopping near highs. Nice move in Nvidia. It's up almost 3% now. It was just kind of a slow one today. It was just kind of chopping around. Decided to try to play a little catch up now. PLTR still just teasing my profit target. It's at 425. My profit target's at 430. MU is just going beast. There we go. PLTR filled at $4.30. I'm going to keep an eye on Microsoft here. Microsoft previous day high is right lined up with pre-market highs. It's kind of chopping just below it. If we get a nice aggressive reclaim on that, I'd be interested. On Microsoft, I would trade the Microsoft, I would trade the 402.5s. See what Microsoft does here. PLTR still climbing. Tezzy giving it up. Little tick through highs and giving it up. No, Microsoft kind of rejecting here. I put in another order in PLTR at 480 to close some more if it makes another push up. I may lower that. We'll see. See how aggressive it wants to be. Netflix kind of chopping just below previous day high. IWM still at highs. Nvidia pulling back now. AVGO just pushed through previous day high. Yep. Softy kind of rejecting previous day high at this point. PLTR now pulling back a little bit. S&P and NASDAQ kind of pausing. PLTR, little dip. Definitely not going to let this trade go red. Tesla giving it up. Look at Tezzy. Tezzy pulling back hard. Apple still chopping near highs. PLTR dipping basically back to where I got in. I want to see a bounce here, otherwise I'll just cut it and call it a day. SMH finally pulling back. MU finally pulling back. AMD, AVGO. A lot of dips coming in. NASDAQ. PLTR still dipping. No bounce here. I'm gonna have to cut if it doesn't bounce. All right, I'm going to cut. Filled at 344 in PLTR. So ended up being just a small winner. NVIDIA pulled back to pre-market highs, where it kind of made that decent little move from one. I guess it was only about a $1 move, huh? All right, I'm going to wrap the stream here. If I see anything here in the near future, I will post in the trade channel. Microsoft is kind of bouncing. If Microsoft makes an aggressive move back up towards previous day high, I would consider calls there. NVIDIA right here at pre-market highs, if it started to kind of react off that level again, I would consider. So those kind of look like the only two things I'd look at, and they would need to happen here pretty soon for me to take anything. So if I do, I'll post in the trade channel. If not, I will see you all in Power Hour. Cheers.